Welcome to hell, where I've spent the last 250 days. This world is absolutely barren, just 3 layers of dirt, but that's why I love it. We've already done the big goals like get iron or wood, so in this video, I'm pushing this world and my creative brain to its limit. With nothing, I will do the funniest, dumbest, stupidest projects I can think of. I might go crazy, but going crazy starts with day 251. First, I made a throne for Duncan the cat because YouTube commented on the last video saying she's the best. So according to YouTube, all your cats suck. Day 252, a wandering trader spawned, and you might be surprised, but they're actually really useful. From this one, I bought small drip leaf ice and coolest of all, spruce saplings. I got right to planting it, but ew, when it grows, it makes this ugly mud around it. So I went far away to grow the trees. Out here, they'll make mud, but I won't see it from the main base. By the way, on my way out here, I didn't find any villages because, well, there are none in this world. Let me say that slower. There are no villages in this world. That's where the challenge comes from. I actually had a lot of fun slowly growing this garbage patch. One day it might take over the world. That evening I got home and decided it'd be good to use this spruce for a view tower. I built it around an old dirt staircase that goes up to the sky, but only had time to build the outline. So day 255, I built the first wall, adding little windows every now and then. One wall isn't a complete tower though, but I got bored and worked with the sheep instead. That's what I did each day. I built a wall and collected materials for some future projects. Day 257, I remembered an old thing Stampy Cat used to do in Skyblock series where he had 2 lines of dirt race to see which ones could turn into grass fastest. So I stole that idea. Over the next 250 days, these will race in the background. Pick your side now, are you team left or team right? I didn't forget to build a tower wall though, so I made it up on day 258, and finished it on day 259. Day 260, I dug out a giant hole for a cat gift farm. When you sleep, a cat has a random chance to give you an item. Some of those items we can't get any other way. I really like the style I did with the walls, and then because the floor is bedrock, no mobs can spawn. I wouldn't want anything to happen to these cats. I'll just be breeding them every now and then, but to keep myself busy, I started on the Star Trader achievement. That requires me to get a villager to the absolute top of the world and then trade with it. We are starting from the absolute lowest we can, so I have to build a ginormous staircase. Day 262, I'm still building it, but we are more than halfway. Now the villager won't just walk up the staircase, so every 20 blocks or so I place a bed. At night, the villager went to sleep in a bed, and then I broke it. It then goes up the stairs to the next bed, and the cycle repeats. We were about halfway up the stairs when it turned to day, and we had to put that on pause. One thing I really liked about the cat pen is how colorful it is, but especially how it's outlined with wool. I want more color in this world, so I spent the day gathering lime wool to outline my base. Day 264, I got all the cats into boats for the cat gift farm. See, normally only one cat can give you a gift per night, but if they're all stuck in boats, the game just says screw it and every cat gives you an item. I was going to sleep, but then I realized I forgot about the villager in the sky. Once it got to the top, I got the achievement, then just let him chill up there. Because I was up here, I had an idea to bridge out and break everything behind me. I just then enjoyed space. Oh, look at that, I'm back to the real world. I had some time to sleep, so in the morning I collected the cat gifts. But the cats can't give me a gift that compares to the enchanted chainmail leggings I got. Enchanted things are hard to come by in this world, so I'll take Blast Protection 3. Day 266, I tried to get the Bullseye achievement, which has you shooting at a target from like 50 blocks away. You have to hit dead center, and I wasn't even getting close. Most people shoot on a trap door and then activate it from 50 blocks away with a redstone line, but I have 1 piece of redstone. Instead, I opted for a button that opens the trap door, so instead of hitting a dead bullseye, I just have to hit the button. Also that day, I got a rabbit. Look, a rabbit! Day 268 was a whole lot of melon chopping. I went to bed with the cats that evening, and in the morning, I woke to a phantom membrane. This is the first one I've gotten in this series because phantoms haven't been spawning in this world. I guess it's because I've never gone high up in the world, but I'm not sure. And then I just ran around the rest of the day. I'm quite worried because I'm out of ideas and we still have 200 days to go. I can't make a video of just me running around my base for 200 days. Bingo, idea, I make a track that I can run around and be bored on. So after chopping some trees, I started on the outline for the track. I wanted it above and around my land, so while running around, I can look at what I built for inspiration. And yes, I did build this with full blocks instead of slabs. I want this thing to be high quality and just a time waster. Still ringing around the rosy day 271, but then day 272, I was staring around the rosy. Day 273, the last thing to add was a skeleton horse pen at the top. If I'm gonna think, I'm gonna do it fast. Day 274, I didn't even need to use the boredom track to get a new idea. Saddled pigs! I took one from the gold farm, and this is the first time I've ever never ridden a pig. I took it up to the boredom track so I can use it whenever I want to think slow. Day 75, after breeding the pigs, I had no clue what to do. So just like anyone else with no meaning of life, I flexed my wealth on others. I wanted to build a full beacon pyramid, but I ran out of blocks. See kids, most people that look rich aren't. To compensate, I started building more iron farms around my base. If they're far enough apart, I could double or even triple the amount of iron I get. Day 276, I built a third iron farm off camera. I'm just self-conscious about how I build them. Don't judge me, okay? But on day 277, I pushed some villagers into the iron farm and it started producing. For my next project, I went to my backyard to build some automatic crop farms. I'm surprised it took me this long to realize I could build them because all it requires is some walls, crops, and villagers. Day 279, I forcefully hired the employees where they will harvest crops until they die, which they will. I don't have proper safety measures. But now I can get potatoes, carrots, and wheat by not doing a single thing. I'll probably use most of the stuff for breeding villagers. I don't really need like potatoes anymore, but the villagers will just gobble them up. I just had to move a few volunteers over. It's gonna take like 9 villagers in total for it to work. I need some of them farming, but I also need some to sit in the middle so the farmer villagers can throw crops at them. Once they're thrown, my hoppers underneath pick them up. Once I finish the entrance to the backyard, these farms could just run in the background as time passes. That's exactly what my iron farms did, so I was able to complete the beacon with a little fake beacon on top. Day 283, after checking on my crop farms, I spent the day running around cleaning things up. But that got me thinking, there's one thing I've been hesitant to clean up. Today's the day. Day 284, we take down the shade platform. If this is the first video you're watching, this might not be that interesting to you. Like, I haven't even used it at all for this recording. But if you're here from day 1, you know this shade platform was one of the greatest builds. I'm sad to see it go, but we can now move on to bigger and better things. Gosh, it feels like I'm breaking up with the shade platform. But just like a breakup, I can't get over it. It didn't feel right just taking it down, so I turned the old zombie killing chamber into a shade platform museum. It has trails and signs showing you all the different memories. This is how the shade platform wanted to be, exploited for my capitalistic purposes. But it was nice working on something small. Sometimes I get tired of big projects. Speaking of big projects, today I started work on the largest wheat farm in Superflat. See, I was looking up farms to build in Superflat and I saw this video of the largest wheat farm in Superflat. Come on, Waddles, I know you can do better than that. I could do better than that. So today I started digging out the moat for the farm because the last thing we need is slime trampling my crops. And I was right, the moat was quite helpful keeping the mobs away from me. By 288, I had planted all the seeds I could, so I just had to wait for more of it to grow. Now, if I had a proper storage system, I wouldn't have thrown out so many seeds over the last 288 days, so I thought it was about time. I knew if I made a storage room, it would never get used because it's tedious to enter and exit. So it's just an open platform with chests and barrels scattered about. Another strategy is not to make everything so specific. If every time I come home I have to separate birch from jungle from spruce, it's gonna take long and I'll be less likely to actually sort it. Instead, it's just wood chests to throw my stuff into. Day 291, I went to the mud patch. Wait, never mind, I forgot to repair my axe. Okay, now we're at the mud patch. I just chopped and then crafted the wood into campfires, those into torches, and then lit up as much of my surrounding land. Day 293, I harvested more wheat. Still not enough seeds, but wheat farms weren't built in a day. Day 294, I built a second railway. Last video, I constructed one going towards the mob farm, so I should probably make one going home. I had to start them up high in the sky because we have to use gravity to push us forward. Day 295, I dug out a horse pen. Kinda like the storage area, I knew if the horse pen was enclosed, I wouldn't use the horses that much. I wanted to build it out of wheat, but I quickly found out how expensive that was going to be. So instead I used yellow wool, it looks close enough. As you see, we have our first 2 horses in, but I bought some saddles because we are going to wrangle up some more. Over these past couple hundred days, skeleton horses have just been spawning and then walking far away, but I was able to bring them back to the pen. The whole idea is that I can jump into the pen, pick a random horse, and then go. There's no opening and closing fence gates, it's just pure speed. Day 298 was spent at the mob farm. I'm just hoping to get a good enchanted item. That's how I got my sharpness 2 iron sword. It was from this farm. Today I ended up getting an enchanted piece of chainmail and a silk touch shovel. I tried to get the total B location achievement with the silk touch shovel, but for some reason it wouldn't work. Since I got something good yesterday from the mob farm, surely I get something good today. Bane of Arthropods. Because it was day 300, I wanted to do something special for this milestone. Account about. It took me all day, please like it. Day 301, I was still grinding at the mob farm. It feels like gambling because the first day I got tons of cool items and now I'm getting rotten flesh. But addictions are a stinker. I ended up spending all day grinding at the mob farm, just for all the time spent to get invalidated when a wandering trader spawned selling sugarcane. I don't want to act ungrateful. Sugarcane is actually an item I've been waiting for a while. It's gonna give us so many things to do, which I have been looking for. Behind the villager farms, I put together a field to grow sugarcane. All I gotta do now is wait for it to grow. To kill time, I renovated my base a little. I've been living here since like day 2, so you might find it weird that I haven't made a new base, but you'll see why in a little bit. Day 303 was me trying to keep myself busy with stuff like chopping trees, running on the idea track. I even finished the giant wheat field. But day 304, screw patience. I harvested the sugarcane early. With leather, we can craft 3 books, and then craft those into a bookshelf, which means we can finally craft a lectern. With lecterns, we can get librarian villagers who will sell us any enchanted book we want. The first book I wanted was mending, and after cycling for a bit, the villager was selling it. But when I came back with emeralds to buy it, the villager almost escaped. It had its chance, but now it will sell me mending forever. Day 305, I was going for any good enchantment book, like Unbreaking 3. I then upgraded the mending villager, buying a bunch of lanterns from it, but now we have glass! I got a little too excited there, but there's so many new items to buy. I finally got to name Duncan the cat. But even better is that with the enchanted books, I had a set of fully enchanted iron armor. This was a long time coming, but I do find it funny that I might be the first person to ever fully enchant iron armor and actually have a good reason for it. Like, why would anyone do this in a normal world? But we aren't done with librarians just yet. There's a lot more books we need. Rather than storing the librarians in the villager hut, I started construction on library. I don't want to say I hated this build, but I just didn't enjoy it. Throughout this series, I realized I love building cool things, but I hate buildings. The reason my base isn't a house is because I just hate building houses. Build battle is my jam, but the moment the theme is something like architecture, frick bro. But I will say, pretty proud of this build. Then it was just a matter of moving villagers into their new roomy home. Some of them didn't like it though, as they escaped and then became fishermen because of the barrels in my storage area. It's kind of an issue because I don't really need fishermen and they wouldn't unbecome fishermen, but don't worry, I found a pretty good solution. I kill them all. Even though everyone was asleep during the villager firing, they raised their prices on me. Like, a lot. Dear Mojang, please remove karma in your next update. I want to do a lot of wrong things without any of the wrong consequences. Luckily, I'd already bought most of the enchanted books I needed, so all that was left to do was to get levels. The farmer villagers hadn't heard of my crimes, so I traded with them to get levels. It worked, but later that night, I realized the mob farm was way more efficient. Day 314, I spent all day trying to get this villager to sell me sharpness. Now let me tell you, doing any task that requires Minecraft RNG to bless you will make anyone superstitious. By the end of the day, I was placing the lectern in the weirdest ways because maybe if it's facing west, I'll get sharpness. I don't know, maybe if I poo my pants, I'll get sharpness. I don't know if it ended up working, but day 315, I got sharpness. Once again, I needed experience, so I had a chance to use my new Silk Touch axe. It makes it way more efficient to get melons because you get the melon blocks instead of like 6 to 7 melon slices. But once again, I found out mob farms are much better for experience when I repaired the one in spawn. Like, it's crazy how many mobs are in here. So as the sun rose, I got a pretty overpowered iron sword. In my notes for day 316, I said I was fully enchanted, but like, I didn't enchant anything new. I did repair my tools with mending, maybe that was it. Then I just ran around my base looking for more things to do. Day 317, the iron golems attacked me out of nowhere. What the heck? I guess the villagers still remember my crimes. Also, more villagers keep becoming fishermen. It's annoying me a lot, so I gave everyone else who was unemployed jobs as librarians so they wouldn't go looking for other jobs. Hopefully that works, but what I was trying to do before I was interrupted was name the horses. I'd like to introduce you to Harry, Hennifer, Henry, Harold, Joshua, and Harvey. Some of these horses won't make it to see day 500. Day 318, I realized with great sugarcane comes great cartographers. And with this villager, I have every profession of villager I could get. Cartographers are nice because I can now buy expensive maps. And anytime you get a map, come on, you gotta map out your main base. Day 319, some cows had to die, but that allowed me to finish the map. This looks so cool. I love looking at my base from the map. It's just awesome. Day 320, I set out on a little adventure to a land untouched even by me. The whole idea is that while I'm on this trip, the villagers will forget about my crimes. Out here, I wanted to create a massive map-sized pixel art using just 2 colors, green and black. Maps are 128 by 128 pixels though, so it's going to take a while. First thing I had to do was dig out a 128 diameter circle, which was hard because I kept getting confused. But as time went on, I was getting better at digging out this circle. The slimes were quite annoying, but they were also a good source of XP to repair my tools. By day 322, I had completed the circle, and what's left was to carve the yin and the yang. The pixel art I was using, I guess, was a little off, or maybe I was, because I had to freestyle by the end of it. I ran out of food, so I headed home, but I'll be back to finish this project at some point. When I got back, the villager prices were lower. Just like a YouTuber, if you disappear for long enough, everyone will forget what you did. I also had some extra books, so I threw Thorns 3 onto all of my armor. I avoided it because Thorns makes your armor break faster, but I realized like everything I do in this world is repairing my armor by giving me experience. But still, I never seemed to have enough levels to enchant everything. It was just another day at the mob farm. Day 325, I tried to get the achievement Total Bee Location, where you pick up a beehive that has 3 bees inside it. I just didn't realize it was supposed to be a bee nest, not a hive, so I had to breed some bees in the birch forest. That kind of messed with my plans for the day, so I just admired the map. Bingo! Idea! We make pixel art out of carpet so you can see it on the maps. It's a chicken! Quack quack. I had a bit too much fun building the pixel art, so I started on another one. I kept on running out of red carpet though, so it took me till the evening of day 328 to finish it. It's a barcode that says subscribe. Scan this at your local Target and they'll give you a free dog with the little red thing. Day 329 started with me on the boredom track. I then went on to get the achievement Total Bee Location, and because I only have to do one interesting thing a day, I went to sleep. Day 330, I woke up, ate pumpkin pie, then went to bed. That counts as interesting, right? Day 331, I had an idea for a cool project, so I spent the day looking at fonts. It's not like I'm trying to rush anywhere, so I just took my time to find the perfect font. On day 332, with my font locked and loaded, I started to build a giant sign. It says Superflat, just in case you forget where you are. I think it looks really cool, and to make it look better, I made it thick. I also lit it up so it glows in the night. Man, I'm so excited to show you this. It looks so cool. Oh, I think we need a new horse. This one doesn't work anymore. Day 335, I came up with a new project. One thing I've been missing about this world is building big things out of dirt. Also, this world is me trying to show how powerful I am, so I realized, why don't I just plagiarize the Egyptians? So I started construction on a massive 50-block tall dirt pyramid. I don't think I realized how big this was gonna be, but the bigger the better. It's gonna look so cool. Just look at it coming together. Day 337, I ran out of dirt, so I went over to the yin yang. This way, I'm working on 2 projects at the same time. But now I know why the pharaohs hired farmers to build the pyramids, because this is boring. It's just click, click, click. I'm just like those farmers. Except I'm gonna be making bank off this video. Day 339, progress check, it's getting taller. Guess what I did on day 341? More building? Nope, psych, I finished the pyramid. But when I finished it, I realized the sky limit staircase was in the way of the view. It got to stay up for a while, but the moment it became a minor inconvenience, yeah, it's getting taken down. Then to celebrate this moment, I watched the sun set behind it. I was lying, I actually had some bank issues I had to figure out, that's why I just sat there. They wouldn't let me sign in and I needed to pay a loan. I'm sorry, the government comes before you guys. After all that dirt digging, I had to repair my shovel. The mob farm in Spawn always just has like hundreds of mobs waiting to get killed. This is like society when you are Facebook and I am Mark Zuckerberg. Day 344, I used my melon money to make my base look a little bit better. This money could have been used to save an orphan, but doesn't this look so much better? Day 345, while on the boredom track, I checked on the grass race. It looked exactly tied, so I don't know who's gonna win this. You'll just have to watch the entire video to find out. Mahaha. Day 346, I had an idea for quite a useful project. It just required me to spend some time with a mud patch. That's fine, it's not like I'm rushing to something. I still have 150 days in this hell. All that wood is going to the massive sheep pen. I call it the kitchen sink because it's going to have tons of every colored sheep mixed together. This is something I did when I was like 10 with one of my friends, and it's actually quite useful for getting wool. The easiest way to move the sheep was to just open the sheep pen and see who follows. The pen needed to be far away because if I get as many sheep as I want, it's gonna lag, like a lot. This sheep area is already laggy enough, so imagine if all the sheep start canoodling each other. To breed all the sheep, we're gonna need stacks of wheat, but lucky us, we have that automatic wheat farm. Actually, no, turns out the villagers craft the wheat into bread, and sheep hate bread. So I made a new design where instead of the villager throwing wheat, it gets picked up by hoppers underneath. Day 350, I used some of that wheat to get some kitchen sink babies. You might see from the footage, but I think I started the pen off too big. The sheep are all scattered about, making it take like 10 times as long to breed them. In the evening, I tried to light up the pen, but so many of my fans wanted my autograph. I got overwhelmed. Don't worry, I just burned them in the sunlight. By the way, that's not the blood of my fans spilling everywhere, that's a light levels texture pack. I've used it before in the past because what it does is it shows what needs to be lit up during the daytime. But even with torches, slimes are still gonna spawn, and I really can't have them eating my sheep. So I covered the slime chunks with carpet. This stops slimes from spawning, but also allows the sheep to keep eating the grass underneath. It's really tedious though, trying to make the carpet all random. It fits the theme quite well of kitchen sink, but it's taken a while. I got bored of it on day 354, so I did something else. That something else was running around doing nothing. I was so sick of sheep stuff that doing nothing sounded more fun than placing carpet. Day 355, this doesn't look like my Superflat, and that's because I played Sky Battle. Honestly, sometimes you need a little break. Except my editor, he better not be slacking off right now. Okay, now I feel bad. I should be working on the kitchen sink right now. Also, I found riding a horse makes it surprisingly easier to breed the sheep. Speaking of horses, a dozen or so days ago there was a thunderstorm and I remember seeing a skeleton horse spawn over here, but I don't remember putting a saddle on it. It's quite a mystery, but not as big as a mystery as what happened on day 359. The footage just disappeared and I wrote nothing in my notes. Maybe I got netherite armor and died with it, we will never know. But day 360 does exist! Because I recently got back from a run in the rain, like in real life, my hands were really cold. Like, you know when they're so cold you can't really move your fingers that well? That's why I didn't get much done today. All I did was buy cake. But that reminded me, now that we have sugarcane, we have all the ingredients to craft a cake. So I dyed the sheep back to white so we can build a cake factory. I spent all the night constructing it, but I ran out of wool quite fast. That's one thing hard about this world, is wanting to build cool things, but feeling like you keep getting interrupted by running out of blocks. That's why I'm glad I had tons of extra mud. I could make this mud brick floor in one go. And good thing I had extra brick because this turned into a mob factory. Day 363, I matched the red dots from the Minecraft's cake onto the cake factory. And by the way, what are those red things? They're too big to be sprinkles, maybe they're cherries, but at that point they could also be strawberries, and technically apple isn't off the table. Okay, I wrote that apple thing as a joke, but I was reading a forum about this, and someone thinks it's apple. What? Well, at least this cake factory is apple free. There were some protesters, but I trapped one in a boat and killed the others. I brought some cows in and named them Daisy and Jay. They're like the names from The Great Gatsby. The other ingredients were quite simple, just a small sugarcane farm, wheat farm, and chicken hole. Day 365, it's been 1 year in this Superflat world, and I didn't notice that. I didn't do anything special for it. I wrapped up the decorations in the factory, and I think it looks nice. It's been a while since I've decorated a place, and it was quite fun. Now on the topic of food, I came up with a big project for us to work on. I wanted to cure a farmer villager so I could buy golden carrots from them on the cheap. So first up was to work on the gold farm by breeding pigs. I ran out of carrots, so I harvested the carrot crops, even though I have an automatic farm. I don't know what I was thinking. Day 367, while I waited for the pigs to be able to breed again, I just did some chores. Day 368, I realized if I really wanted to maximize how much gold I could get per thunderstorm, I needed to get more copper. So I spent most of the day in a creative road coming up with a copper farm design. Because zombies don't float in water, I made a design that has zombies sink into a kill chamber and the other mobs float over it and go to an automatic kill chamber. Those zombies turn into drowns who, when killed, can drop copper. Then back to the real world, I chopped more trees at the mud patch. That evening there was a thunderstorm, which would be good for the gold farm, but that was way too early. Also, I know it's day 369, but I'm not doing anything funny. I have a headache. Instead, I built the mob farm. This is like the 5th one I've built. Day 370, I finished the first layer, and yes, I do mean first. One thing I realized is that I can't stand right below the farm or nothing will spawn because I'm way too close. So day 371, I dug dirt, and day 372, I used that to build a second layer. This will speed up the copper farm, theoretically. I'm not entirely sure. Day 373, another layer wouldn't hurt. It was also evening, we got our first piece of copper. Day 374, I finished the 3rd layer of the copper farm. And I gotta say, I'm impressed because we have been 374 days accident-free at the copper farm. Frick! To mourn the death, I expanded the pig pen. It's what, I forgot the horse's name, but it's what they would have wanted us to do. Day 376, I grinded for copper and then expanded the pig pen a bit more. I think we can fit 1,000 pigs in here if we ever needed to. Day 377, I couldn't help myself. I built the 4th layer. This is the last one, you can trust me. Then to make grinding for copper faster, I got a Sweeping Edge 3 book. That made it loads easier to kill everything in a big group all at once in the copper farm. That allowed me to craft some copper rods. These will be used to have pigs struck by lightning, turning them into zombie pigmen where we can kill them for gold. I felt happy with the copper I had, so I just had to wait for a thunderstorm. Yeah, it seems like we have enough pigs. But I don't think I can hear you. Pigs, quiet down! Day 380 was spent in the villager house, trying to get a few more enchanted books. One villager sold me Frostwalker, which there's not really oceans to walk across, but maybe I'll mess around with it in the future. More importantly though, I got Fire Aspect 2. Now there aren't really any other enchanted books I need. I don't want to grind for them, but it would be nice to have. Trying to get lucky and get obscure enchantments like Punch for a bow didn't seem worth my time, so instead I harvested sugarcane. There isn't any use for sugarcane, except for crafting cake, but cake can be bought for an emerald from villagers, so let's not act like I'm actually using the cake factory. To give the sugarcane use, I crafted it into loads of paper which I could then trade with librarians, leveling them up. Tomorrow they will sell me new enchanted books. Who am I kidding? They sold trash. But I had gotten to like the idea of having a max enchanted bow, so I know I just called it not worth my time, but I'm gonna waste my time. I started by combining a bunch of bows I'd gotten from mob farms. To get the other enchantments, I just had to cycle through villagers. Once they sold me what I wanted, I boated them off to the library. And you know, didn't take me as long as I thought, because day 384, I had a fully enchanted bow. I tested it out on some golems. I felt pretty confident enough to do a pillager raid. We can't just jump into a raid though, I had to prep beforehand. Last thing I wanted was these villagers dying, or worse, me dying. But it was while protecting the villagers, I came up with a secret weapon. I can't tell you what the weapon is yet though, because I know at least one of you is a pillager who's spying on me, so I just gotta play it safe. While I was prepping my weapon, there was a thunderstorm, so I quickly turned the pigs into pigmen, but I didn't have time to kill them. We have a raid to complete. Day 386, I had another great idea, which was to just not do the raid at my base. The villagers would have no chance of dying if I did it far away. Even better, I brought some iron golems to do most of the dirty work for me. The next day, I killed the pillager I was saving so I could start the raid. The pillagers thought they were tough, but I got my secret weapon. Okay, maybe I did something wrong with the fireworks, but this is barely even powerful. The regular bow did so much better. But way more powerful than the bow was the iron golems. Probably would have died in the raid without them, especially because they take care of the Vex. Even though it was tough, I finally completed a raid without dying. Because of the hero of the village effect, I spent my time trading with the villagers. Once they stopped selling to me, I got around to killing the zombie pigmen in the gold farm, netting me 31 gold ingots, 32 in total if we use the leftover nuggets. Now, day 389 was so eventful, I can't do it any justice just by talking about it. I just have to show you the entire day. That's it, the whole recording. Riveting stuff, isn't it? God, I love Superflat. But get this, day 390 is even better. I walk past a horse! So I have a lot to catch you up on. My current goal is to cure farmer villagers so I can buy golden carrots for cheap. Today I was moving a witch into this witch hut I built because I need the witch to throw weakness potions. It's not that hard, but the entire time I kept getting poisoned. Some would call this hell, I call it New Orleans. Day 392, I bought some sand from a wandering trader. But honestly, it doesn't have that much purpose. If I got a cactus, I could grow it. But what purpose would a lot of cactus have? But I wouldn't let that keep me down. I had work to do. To cure the zombie villager, I just had to move it 3 blocks up into the witch hut. It took all day. I'm constantly poisoned, using cheap armor that doesn't have any thorns, and baby zombies stole my sword. Something so easy was just so difficult. But when the witch threw the potion of weakness, I fed the golden apple to the zombie, and by day 393, I had cured a farmer villager. I moved the villager closer to the house because it is now my official golden carrot trader. 1 emerald for 3 golden carrots, that's a good deal. Day 394, I spent looking at my land. I had my game turned on to a 32 chunk render distance. It took a while to load, but you could see so far. Day 395, I found some motivation to work on the giant sheep pen. A few moments later, I was stealing some of those sheep to bring back to my main compound. See, look, it's a pen full of rainbow sheep. Okay, I thought it'd be a lot more colorful. Most of these colors are so bland that they're turning into. Day 396, I did something I've been meaning to do for a while. I'm gonna light this fake beacon. Also, look at this view. It looks so weird because of the fog, but we are so high up. And there's only one correct way to get down: falling like a meteor. That view gave me inspiration for the next project. See, while I was up there, the library's roof seemed quite empty, so I put pixel art of a book on it. It couldn't be as detailed as I wanted it to because I'm quite limited on blocks, but it looks awesome on the map. Every so often I need a few emeralds, so on day 398 I chopped and sold melons. I like these days because, oh, it's satisfying. Day 399 was busy prepping for a giant 400-day celebration. That celebration will be in the evening, so I kept myself busy with a new project of collecting every mob in Superflat. I spent the day getting a chicken, cow, and sheep. They'll sit in these little bottles, which I'm pretty sure I stole the design from someone, but I can't remember who. So if it was you who made the design, frick you, I'm stealing it. But now for the grand celebration for making it 400 days, I have 400 fireworks. Wait, actually no, okay, there's a budget cut and we have 4 fireworks. Day 401, I collected a few more mobs, like a pig. When getting it out of the pen, a lot of other pigs did escape, but they'll soon get what's coming for them. I also got an iron golem, but surprisingly, it didn't need to be in that big of cage. Also, you don't get to know the name of this one. Later, I got a zombie. The creeper was the hardest though, by far. The little guy was too smart for me. Day 402, so close. It has to be night for me to try again, so I got an easier one in the morning, bees nuts. Actually, never mind, that one escaped too. That evening, I was just trying to kill off all the zombies, and the creeper just crushed crossed the bridge and fell in. Day 403, I took a break from mob collecting to harvest some melons. Oh, and pumpkins too, for the first time ever. You know, the sheep need some attention. There's still slime spawning in their pen, so I turned the chunks into paths. I know it's not carpet, so it doesn't look the best, but I really couldn't be bothered. It takes so much time to carpet a chunk, and that gave me more time to deal with this mess. Before we get started on day 405, the right side of the grass race is ahead. That night, I trapped a bat named Sockful of Pennies. That reference feels so far removed that I don't think anyone will get it. Next was a witch, and it's always fun to move them in boats because they throw potions like they're a catapult. I think the name for the witch is pretty funny because it rhymes with witch and it's what you'd call someone. Mitch, yeah, Mitch. Should have called Mitch something else because it popped my totem. Moving the Enderman was probably worse though, and this death message took me by surprise. Wait, hold up, did you see that? Was that a slime? Well, either way, that reminded me I needed to get a slime. Then day 408, well, that was easy. If you remember that flying slime we saw 6 seconds ago, that was my inspiration for the next project, a slime farm. The basic idea is that a slime will spawn on this pillar and then jump into the iron golem. Day 410, I was in a video call for my Eastern Philosophies class, so I thought it was fitting to finish the yin yang. I started by carving a circle that kinda looks right, and then used a circle generator to make it look perfect. I did collect a lot of dirt from this, but still, that amount of dirt never seems like enough. But here it is, the finished yin yang. Then I proceeded to expand the map, and now it doesn't look as cool. But that gave me the idea to map out my base, but on a more zoomed out map. It was a brave adventure. My horse risked its life for the completion of the map. That wasn't all though. I had to fill out 2 more maps in the morning just because that's how maps work. It's not like you can make a center of the map wherever you want. Each map is dedicated to a certain area, and our base just happened to fall into 4 different areas. But look at it, it's so small and cool. Day 415, I needed to refocus because I'm still not done with the yin yang. I want to turn it into a swimming pool of sorts, and that would be easiest with the Depth Strider enchantment. It then took all day to grind to level 37, but now we have our flippers. Day 416, I started flooding the yin yang, which will turn the black on the map to blue. I really hope this looks good. There's no going back. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, I'm glad I have copies of both maps. And with that, I couldn't think of any other projects to work on. This entire video, I've been trying to keep myself busy with interesting things, but I think I might be out of ideas. So screw it. Skyblock. Yes, I built a recreation of Skyblock above my Superflat world. I'll be here for a couple of days until I get a thing of iron. Getting iron was a similar goal for this Superflat world, so I felt like it was fitting. Now, the first problem, I have no lava in this world, so I can't make a cobblestone generator, so I can only use wood. There's also some other items I couldn't have, so I substituted it for other things, like eggs. But the goal for today was to get wood, so I just had to wait for trees to grow. Tomorrow, we go over there. Day 419, I bridged over to the sand island. Now I had to be really careful collecting this, so I built a safe platform for the sand to fall on. Then I broke the string holding it up and was now a proud owner of 27 sand. There was also sugarcane on that island, so it was a no-brainer to start farming it, except I've always been curious why there's sugarcane on like Skyblock islands. Like, what am I gonna use it for? Either way, there was a second water bucket on the sand island, so I could create an infinite water source. Day 420, I'd like to apologize. I didn't realize it was day 420 and did not do anything that would be considered blazing it. I just planted more trees. Once I gathered enough wood, it was time for the bazillionth mob farm of the series, but this one is the first one not built out of dirt. I actually didn't have enough wood, so I had to head back down to gather some more. While waiting for the trees to grow, I spent my time fishing, because without that, I'd probably starve. Day 423, while wrapping up the mob farm, well, that was fun. I expected to survive longer, but I guess I overestimated my skill. It's good to be humbled every now and then, so I built a monument to remember my experience. Day 425, I felt like I put so much work into the yin yang, but didn't do anything with it. So I made tons of copies and hid them around the base. But while hiding them, I found some of my farmer villagers to be zombie villagers. I'm the only doctor here, so I have to be the one to cure them. Last time it took me all day to just move one villager up to the witch because I had to use my regular iron armor. My good set had thorns, which means every time a mob attacked me, they took damage, which could kill the zombie we're trying to cure. So I made a regular prot 4 set, and while trying to move the zombie villagers, I found that it was a baby zombie that killed all the villagers. As if this night couldn't get unlucky enough, I stumbled upon a black cat. I've been going for an achievement of having every cat breed, but stopped once the commenters told me black cats only spawn in witch huts. So what the heck is it doing on my front porch? Writing this now, it seems ironic that after I built a witch hut, I found a black cat, but the real reason it spawned was because it was a full moon. By the morning, I had 2 of the zombie villagers cured. The third and final one I could cure was a bit trickier because I didn't want it burning in the sunlight. But rewatching the footage, it had a gold helmet on. It wouldn't have been burnt by the sun. The real problem was that once I started the curing process, the little guy just started carting away. It's not all bad though, because it gave me an idea for some new projects. The first step wasn't building, it was removing this mob farm. It's so fun tearing this whole thing down. For the like 5 or 6 mob farms I've built, it was a good break to finally destroy one for once. I gotta say, I didn't realize how much shade the mob farm has been creating, but now that it's gone, this area over here is just so much brighter. Also, if you're sad that the mob farm is gone, don't worry, reincarnation is canonical in my Superflat world. I realized it'd be a waste to not have a mob farm in spawn churning in the background, giving us stuff like bones automatically. This is now like the 7th one I've built. The only thing interesting about this one is how tall it is. Day 430, I'm back to the villagers, and yeah, these guys had to go. I can't risk catching what they got. I have 70 more days to play. Day 431, I built a villager breeding house. Right through the middle, there's a train track that will pick up villagers to move to the farmer trading hall. Let's just say there were some openings in the trading hall that I needed to fill, and I might expand the trading hall later. Day 432, the villagers moved into the breeding house. They will be the Adam and Eve of all the new villagers. One problem though, the children are able to escape through the minecart hole. Now it's rare because villagers won't walk over rails regularly, so it acts as a barrier. But if they get pushed onto the rails, they will then just have the freedom to walk out. So I installed the one-way child tube. If one of them escapes, they can walk back through here and fall back into the breeder. Day 434, I went fishing. If you have a good memory, you might know why. It was for the black cat. With that one tamed, there are only 3 variants left. Good thing I don't need the cats alive because that's not my fault. Day 436 started off with a bang. Also, I got the Search Protector achievement, it just gave it to me. Later, I checked on the slime farm, nice to know I spent 10 stacks of iron for this. That's what we in the economy industry call a bad investment. Also, another economics lesson, ever since our farmer villagers died, the demand for melons has fallen. That meant I had lots of leftover that needed to be put to a project. A big giant melon in the sky always seems to do the trick. It took all day to build, but it was as worth it as a giant melon in the sky can be. Day 438, who do we appreciate? There were plenty of zombie pigmen ready to be harvested for gold in the gold farm. I walked away with 54 gold. After updating my maps, I just kind of sat there for the rest of the day. I was distracted doing who knows what, but then I noticed I was AFK and moved myself to a cooler AFK spot. When I finally got back to it, I did some target practice, but I think I discovered a glitch. Like, the arrow is gone, but the flames are still there. Don't hire me as a game tester though, because I couldn't figure out what made this happen. Day 441, I rediscovered the joys of making paths. They just add a lot to a world. It gives everything a sense of connectedness. Day 442 starts my favorite part of the video because I took a vacation to the mud patch. The reason I went in the first place was to collect some podzol for the paths at home, but the area I dug out kind of looked like a river, so I filled that up and terraformed around it. But I had a lot of fun chopping trees and building hills, so I decided to stay the night. Then in the morning, I started work on a cabin. You know, I said in the past I hate building buildings, but I think this cabin gets a pass. It used a lot of spruce, but I'm in a spruce forest, there's plenty of that here. Maybe that's why I enjoyed this one. I'm not stopping every minute to go grab the new block I need. I can just build and try out a bunch of different things. And I think it turned out, especially the roof. I also just had some time to decorate in the evening. This is nice. I was gonna stop there, but chopping trees is giving me something to do and was just relaxing. I realized since I was chopping so much, I might as well make a logging shed. The inspiration was a shed that my great-grandfather had in his backyard. He also had a big mink shed where he raised, bred, and got fur from these little creatures called mink. Hopefully my editor is showing you one right now on screen. But don't worry, when the mink were harvested for fur, they didn't feel a thing, because they were killed with gas. And that's kind of why mink coats fell out of style, just the ethical problems with it. Now back to Minecraft. That evening it started to rain, and for the first time in years, I just sat and enjoyed a Minecraft rainstorm. When was the last time you did that? Or when was the last time you watched a video where they took time to just sit here and enjoy the rain? I don't know, there's just a different feel over at the mud patch. I wish I did this earlier. There was a giant slime in my house and I just thought it was hilarious. Also, slimes don't count as hostile mobs in the sense of others because I was able to sleep with them at my bedside. Day 449 was more tree chopping so I could keep expanding the mud patch. Day 450 was more of the same. And day 451 I built a little shack to sell wood. I bet the slimes would love to buy from here. Sadly, day 452 is corrupted, but I had built this trampoline that night. Even worse, there's no footage of me ever using it. Then day 453, I built a little tent and campsite and decided I was happy with what I had built and it was time to go home. But what really pushed me to go home was that I learned you can put chests on trading llamas. I did have to kill their owner. Oops. The whole idea behind these guys is that they can act like shulker boxes for me. I could bring them somewhere and fill their chests with items, letting me move more stuff around. Also, you can put carpet on them. Look at these designs. They're so cool. And that was it. That started the Great Llama Obsession. Day 455, the baby llamas are cute, but they grew up later that day. I knew llamas can carry more stuff than 3 stacks, and I thought it was just random chance to breed a llama to have a carrying capacity of 15. Later, I'll learn how wrong I am. But anyways, that evening, I moved villagers from the breeder into their new spots where they will sell me melons forever and ever and ever, or until they get zombified again. Day 456, I spent all my emeralds to level up those farmer villagers. Cause you know what they say, to make money, you gotta lose your entire net worth. But no matter what, I still have my llamas with me. I tamed all of them, but none of them have a carrying capacity more than 3. Either way, this green llama looks awesome. Day 457, I experimented with using llamas to move items around. So together, we harvested some food for the llamas and took it home. And let me tell ya, if we get some strong llamas, this could work like a charm. But even if this whole llama idea crashes and burns, the carpet designs are still so awesome. I'm surprised that Minecraft being my job, I've never seen these patterns. Speaking of this whole thing crashing and burning, it might. I was reading the wiki and learned how llama carrying capacity and breeding works. So first, when you breed llamas, it takes the strongest one. Each level of strength represents 3 slots of items you can carry. We have the weakest llama with a strength of 1. So it takes the strongest llama and then it calculates the odd for the offspring to have a different strength. Reading the chart, we have a 3% chance to breed a llama with strength 2, meaning it can carry 6 items. We'll need to breed 30 llamas to get strength 2 and roughly 70 to get strength 3. Good thing we have this wheat farm. This wheat isn't cheap either because every llama requires 2 hay bales or 18 wheat to breed. Just how they work, if the llamas aren't ready to breed, they'll still eat the whole hay bale, which just wastes it. So I put together a 5-minute timer. It took a while because I only had 2 redstone, but I'm proud of the creativity. After I breed llamas, I throw an item onto the pressure plate, turning on the light. After 5 minutes, when the llamas are ready to be bred again, the item despawns, lighting up the lamp. That was an incredibly busy day, but I just love it. Even crazier, it's llamas I'm obsessed with. I was so determined I spent my day taming the llama and then breeding them. Once tamed, I'd mark them with a carpet so I can tell the difference between them. I know it's rare, but I still haven't gotten a strength 2 llama. Until I found the llama on the bridge. The one prophesied by the Egyptians, the one who can carry 6! Dang it. But after one more breeding cycle, we secured a strength 2 llama. But that now means I don't need these weak llamas to breed anymore, so I can... Okay, I can't bring myself to kill them. Instead, I'm going to build them a beautiful llama sanctuary. Luckily, I found a 4x4 chunk area near the pyramid that only has 1 slime chunk in it. It took a while to repair the land, but it was all worth it once I got the caravan going. There's just so many llamas, I'm glad I kept them alive. Now we still have a lot more breeding to do, like getting over 100 llamas to maybe get strength 3. So I repaired the wheat farm. A slime had gotten into it a few days ago and trampled my crops. Also, the grass race is close to finishing with the right side in the lead. Day 464, I worked on the habitat, namely turning the slime chunk into a lake so it looks nice and slimes can't spawn. That evening, there was a thunderstorm, which gave me an idea. Mojang, can you please add it that if a llama gets struck by lightning, all the other surrounding llamas just look up at the sky and spit at God? That'd just be so funny. Day 465, I started on the hills for the sanctuary. Most pictures of llama habitats were really, I don't want to be rude, but let's just say llamas don't live anywhere cool. I found this photo. I don't know if llamas actually live here, but I don't care, it looks cool. I also don't want to say our breeding wasn't worth it, but a wandering trader spawned, and one of the llamas was strength 3. That's incredibly lucky, so now we can set our sights onto strength 4. Day 466, I added some trees to the sanctuary and made the lake more lakey. Day 467, another wandering trader spawned. They didn't have any cool strengths, but there was a brown llama I saved. It's nice to have some diversity in the pen. I also built up the mountain a bit more using mud because light gray wool is taking too long to get. This is such a fun project. When you clicked on this video, did you think llamas were going to be the funnest thing about the video? I didn't think I'd have fun with them when I started making the video. I was so distracted building the habitat, I forgot to make a 69 joke. Not like they're funny anyways. I also want to give a progress update on the mountain. I'm really happy with the design. Day 471, I made a shrine shrine to the llamas and iron golems. The llamas weren't paying any attention to it. You guys are going to sit here and enjoy it. I also had to move some of the llamas from under the mountain to out of it. I can't imagine how I'd feel if it caved in on them. The mountain isn't done yet though, so I spent some time at the sheep pens gathering light gray wool. I also needed to gather some more grass, but we're so far out and I don't want to make separate trips and I couldn't fit it all in my inventory. I told you they'd be useful. Let's go, llamas. I was really terrified of them dying though, so at night I just bunkered down. Well, that's until I heard the sound of a wandering trader. That's 3 of them in 10 days. I swear this spawning has to do something with llamas. Like, this is crazy amounts of spawning. With that, we got acacia and brown dye. Since I went home to grab emeralds, I could collect some more grass. You could say, I got too much grass. Yeah, my shovel broke. That's annoying. But when I got home, I was greeted with my second strength 3 llama. Day 475, I used the grass to get so close to finishing the mountain. By this point, I started to raise the fence up so nothing could escape over the hill. Also, I finally found a use for the drip leaf. Later that evening, I got around to getting myself a new shovel, the Llama Hillmaker. I'll take much better care of this one. Day 477, I finished the hill. Be honest, how did I do? I think it's very unique, but far from perfect. But I should apologize because it's actually not done. This apology isn't to you, but to Grian. He's a big Minecrafter known for not finishing the back of his builds, and I thought he was crazy for doing that. Like, just finish the back. It's not that hard. But now I understand him. This is the back of my mountain. I couldn't care about finishing it. Nobody's gonna see it. But do you know what they will see? My glorious statue. I started by studying the llama face and how it got like that. Then I started work on a giant llama head, every now and then zooming into the llamas nearby for measurements. Look at it in its unfinished glory. I finished it on day 480. Look at it and weep at its llama-gelic glory. Every morning I've been waking up and going straight to llama taming. I find which ones are strength 3, give them a red carpet, and then breed them. I have to be careful to make sure every time the llamas are bred, at least one of the parent is strength 3. If not, they won't give me anything useful. But the llamas are quite hungry. This farm can barely keep up. But at least I'm farming with a purpose. Planting seeds is a mind-numbing task, but because it's for an important reason, it feels important. Day 483, there were llamas outside the sanctuary, so I moved them inside. You guys are gonna live in and enjoy the sanctuary, good grief. Day 484, I killed the first bee of the series. To pay my respects, I'm gonna build a parking garage on its dead body. I found moving llamas out of pens to be quite a tedious process, so the whole idea is that each llama gets its own parking spot, per se, where I can bring the exact amount I want easily. I made sure to use some mud brick, cause this place is gonna be nice. It's what's holding my llama-guineas. But once I was done with the garage, I felt that old feeling of no ideas. So I decided it'd be a good time for an adventure with my llamas. I was just gathering some dirt because, you know, you can never have enough. Like, I thought I had enough, then I built the pyramid, which drained all my resources. As it turned to night, that's a 4th. I swear, this is way too many. This has to do with me breeding llamas. Once my and the llamas' inventories were full, I took them back home. Then one by one, I parked them in the garage. It might look tedious to you, but it's actually the most efficient method because when you grab one llama with a lead in a pen, all the other llamas want to follow. Later that day, I put together a farm with the cactus I got from a wandering trader. As I said, it's not that useful. While farming wheat on day 489, I heard a bunch of spider noises under the farm. Turns out there's an entire colony down here. Good thing I had all the extra dirt because I could fill in all the gaps. No more spiders should be spawning down here. Day 490, this challenge is starting to wrap up, so I spent the day filling up the creeper holes around my land. But it took me all day, and I didn't even fill up all of them. Day 491, the llama pen was getting crowded. It's time for some to take a trip to the sanctuary. Because llamas always want to follow each other, I have to separate the good and bad llamas. Problem is, the llama's AI is really smart because it always wants to walk exactly where you don't want them to. So I ended up getting a bunch of llamas on leads and just booking it away. Day 492, I was back to breeding llamas. It feels like gambling now. Like, it's a 1% chance to get a strength 4 llama. That's really rare, but it only takes one strength 4 llama, and anyone could be the next one. I still had that 4 minutes of free time today, so I harvested the melon and pumpkin farms for probably the last time, and to the XP farm for the last time as well. Now it's day 495, and I realized it'd be really awkward if the grass race doesn't finish in this video, so I left myself AFK at the finish line and probably went to go take a shower or something. After coming to, I spent the rest of the day gambling with the llamas. I know, there's only 4 days left and I'm still trying to get strength 4. Time's running out, so I appreciated the map one last time. But there seemed to be something odd. There's like a giant thing of birch in the sky. Oh! So I went up to the sky to take the whole thing of Skyblock down. I spent more time building and removing this mob farm than actually using it. But on the bright side, I did get a lot of birchwood that we might use for future projects. But we only have 2 days left, so let's have an honest chat. See, day 499 I did my final build. I had put out a community post saying I'll build the most liked comment. For scale, this community post got 3,600 likes. The second most liked comment had 138 likes. The first had 2,000, a sign that says, yeah, Jaron, hereby promise to make another Superflat survival video after the 500 days one. You idiots, it doesn't fit on the sign. With all your legal phrases, it became invalid. You flew too close to the sun, Icarus. Okay, but let's have an honest chat. This video was 250 days in total and it took ages to make. So I'll be honest with you. If this video does well, I'll make 1,000 days grand finale. If not, we move on to other cool things. It's very much going to be the voice of the people. If I ever do make 1,000 days, it'll come out when it does. I'll just slowly work on it when I have some free time or ideas for projects. Also, I heard that subscribing makes it more likely for me to do 1,000 days. And day 500, I'm proud we made it this far. So many times I thought I had nothing to do, but I pulled through, coming up with just the most bizarre of ideas. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. The llamas really appreciate it. Also, there was no winner for the grass race. That's embarrassing.